Welcome back. You're still watching Politics Tonight, digging beyond the headline. Let's bring you up to speed with some developments in the polity. The Lagos State House of Assembly has confirmed 22 commissioner nominees out of the 39 names sent by the lawmakers by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu for screening and confirmation. The 17 commissioner nominees dropped include the former Commissioner for Education in the state, Folashade Adefisayo, that of Health, Akin Abayomi, and Dada Cecilia, who is the former Commissioner for Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. Others are the former Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Bengal Motosho, that of Budget and Planning, Sam Egube, the former Special Advisor on Sustainable Development Goals, Shola Hammond, and the former Special Advisor on Works and Infrastructure, Aramide Adeoye. The Kaduna State government has launched a special palliative program targeting 210,000 households in the state. At the launch of the program in Kaduna, Governor Uba Sani reaffirmed his commitment to providing support that will cushion the effect of petrol subsidy removal on residents. TVC News correspondent Lupo Hassan tells us more.
After being sworn in, Governor Uba Sani formed a committee with government officials, the NLC and other critical stakeholders. Their primary objective was to explore alternative measures and develop palliative strategies to mitigate the impact of the subsidy removal. The committee have come to present their report to the governor upon completion. Using their findings, Governor Uba Sani announces the launch of a palliative program for 210,000 households affected by the fuel subsidy removal.
We are targeting about 1,050,000 in Kaduna State. And that translates to about 210,000 households. The federal government promised to give every state 5 billion naira, which will serve as both grant and loan. So, but as of today, 2 billion naira have been given to Kaduna State, and the 2 billion naira is what we are using at the moment to ensure that we come up with something quickly to support our poor, underserved, and vulnerable within our state.
The governor outlines a three-phase approach for palliative distribution. This will see the distribution of 43,000 bags of rice, prioritizing the disabled, widows, and elderly in its initial phase. Initiatives like subsidized transport, fertilizers, and small business aids will form the second phase. Reviving the locomotive train for affordable transport will follow.
Kaduna State government also will consider buying some buses, because it's also very important. And when we buy these buses, we'll ensure that in the next 6 months, transportation will be free or subsidized. The first 6 months free, the latter will subsidize.
Members of the committee praised the inclusive approach adopted by the governor. Governor Uba Sani stresses preventing diversion and disruption. He reaffirms his commitment to uplifting the underserved and vulnerable in the state. Lupe Asom, TVC News, Kaduna.
Let's take a short break, and when we return, it will be time to speak with our guest of the day, who is the National Operations Controller of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, Mike Oshatuyi, for discussion on moves by the federal government to achieve stable fuel prices in Nigeria. Please stay with us. Thank you so much for staying with us. You're still watching Politics Tonight, digging beyond the headlines. Tonight, I am joined by the National Operations Controller of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, Mike Oshatuyi, for discussion on moves by the federal government to achieve stable fuel prices in Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening, Nigerians.
So let's start with the impact of petrol subsidy removal on the polity. How will you describe it?
Yeah, in fact, the removal of subsidy definitely has brought about increase in price of petrol. But at the same time, you cannot eat your cake and have it. It has also brought about increase in revenue to the government. And as we have seen in the last 2 months, close to a trillion has been shared every month now by the treaty of government with the federal, state, and local government. I think 957 billion was shared in June and 96 billion or so in July, so which brought a very good leap in what comes to the cover of the treaty of government. So we have some increase in price of petrol, which has brought some hardship to the Nigerians, but at the same time, the money they have given to the state, which before it was about 650, 600, the highest was about 750 billion before, but now going to about 1 trillion now. So this money now should be used by masses and the populace. And I think you can see the Kaduna state governor, some other state government, Ogun State, they have already rolled out some palliative program in terms of subsidized transport costs, acquiring buses that we use CNG. So those are but I think in overall, if you look at it, it's the best thing to remove subsidy because we have been financing neighboring countries for years. And you can see that there was a protest in Cameroon when we removed subsidy. Why? So it means they are benefiting us. They have benefited from the subsidy for years. So, but principally, there must be transparency. The government must be accountable to the masses, and the money must be used judiciously, so that masses can benefit what they have suffered for.
All right. So, I mean, after removal of subsidy, we saw that the NNPCL said market forces will determine the prices of petrol. But how much of this can we say has happened?
Yeah, that is truth. That the cost of crude and the cost of dollar to naira will determine the cost of the fuel, landing costs plus margin. But at the same time, if you had the president when he was giving a broadcast to Nigerians last month, he has said that if there is necessary for government to intervene, they will intervene in terms of the soaring cost of dollar to naira. And I think government also has intervened through the CBN. I think you can see that dollar crashed by about 120 naira in the last 1 week, and it will still crash more when CBN roll out their programs.
All right. So, I mean, we've also witnessed one hike in the price by NNPCL after the initial removal of subsidy. My question is this supposed to be so in a deregulated environment?
Now, there's something they call replacement costs. You know, if you have stock, yes, and you are going to go also to the market to go and restock. You're going to restock at the new cost. If you're not careful, you will not have the liquidity to restock. So it is pure business. Business formula that inspired that. So, but I think things has come to normal now.
So the hike was necessary.
Yeah, it's necessary because if you don't hike, you can't have enough fund to replenish, and it's going to bring more hardship. Because when it is scarce, then the cost will be high also. But I think we have gone beyond that.
Mm-hmm. So how do you think the federal government can achieve stable fuel prices?
With what we are witnessing in CNG now, I think this government is very serious about CNG. They want to divert masses from using petrol or less of petrol to CNG. And CNG is very, very cheap. It's 200 per kg. If you go to NIPCO there in Nebafo, it's 200 per kg. And it's 230 in Ibadan. They launch Ibadan. I mean, that's 2 weeks. Yeah. So, and even if you go to up north, maybe about 250, 260, which is about one third. I mean, you are saving about 2/3 of the cost. And CNG even cover more distance, right, than petrol. So, and that's number one. Number two, then the intervention of government that say, okay, they will intervene when necessary, so that the dollar to naira, which is the basis of which the element of importing and costing will be intervened. And I think government it's now 71 naira in I and E window now, which is better than the 100 that it has been last 1 month. So the meeting the Zambian governor had with the president really worked, because within 24 hours it crashed. That's even before rolling out what are the other programs that CBN have got. So it has to be managed.
So apart from these two you have mentioned, are there other ways you think the federal government can achieve stable fuel prices?
First of all, they have to make dollar available to the importers, genuine importers, by sending directly to the genuine importers, to IPMAN member that want to import, to that man and to one man, and then to an NPC. So this dollar is going directly to the importers, and they should roll out this. I mean, in fact, we have framework already. We have the template that Ministerial have that you must compare before you can import. So if it's been at the heart of strategy, I think there will be discipline. And anybody who mess up in the under the exchange system should be sanctioned. Even the banks too.
Okay, so is this the same thing as unbundling CBN and NNPCL to achieve price stability? I'm asking this question because other stakeholders have said the federal government, one of the other ways to do this is that the federal government should unbundle CBN, NNPCL to achieve price stability. Because according to them, adjusting prices without institutional reform that will ensure transparency and competition will not yield the desired result.
I don't know what they mean by unbundling of CBN. They want CBN to be 10 CBN in Nigeria or what? But it's a symbiotic situation. The NPC and CBN must work together because they are the core government agencies in this operation. So, and if they work together with these other stakeholders, monthly meetings, review of operation and guidelines, and blockage of loopholes, and again, principally, they are accustomed people to their work. Because you can see that even our price of our petrol is still cheaper than neighboring countries. But if the custom do their work and other agencies, then the petrol will reside within the country so that it will be for the benefit of Nigeria. Even when government now intervene, right, it will be for the benefit of Nigerians, not for the neighboring country again, like before.
So how much of transparency must come from both organizations?
Why can't we achieve 100% transparency? We can achieve it if we are patriotic. There's no matter of 80% or 90%. We can achieve it 100% transparency, even custom. Because if they want to do their job, they can achieve 100% transparency and coming on all this smuggling. So there's no matter of 80 or 90%. It's 100%.
Absolutely. So let's talk about influence of fuel marketers. Many have accused them of trying to exploit consumers. How will you react to this?
Well, there's no any system without bad egg, right? If you call them cartel or other names, but if the agencies have said do their job, cartel will be dismantled. And the first cartel was when NNPC was the sole monopoly of importation and distribution, which has been on board now, if you want me to use that language. That now, if my member, that man can import along with NNPC also. So that cartel, if you see, look at that, has been unbundled when the president announced that subsidy is gone and there's regulation. So if the government is not monopolized, again, I'm talking of foreign exchange to be made available to all the genuine importers. So we are good to go. And in fact, everybody, there will be competition of price, of service, quality of products, and Nigeria will enjoy.
Well, Mr. Osatu, it's very interesting that we're talking about achieving transparency, and at the same time we're saying, there is no agency that does not have bad eggs. I'm asking, where does this put the government?
If government agencies do their job, bad eggs will be removed. And why should Nigerians smuggle fuel? But why can't also customs do their job? If you have bad egg, then there's government instrument to checkmate them. So if customs allow fuel smuggler to go away with the product, then who are you to blame? It's government. It means there's bad egg also in the government system. So, but I think everybody has to enough of all this nonsense.
So a lot of times we've seen marketers, threatening to hike price even before NNPCL and government denies such. Should this be happening?
What happened, I think about 2 weeks ago, that the price will be 720 or something. They are working with the market fundamentals when crude price was high to $80 and now also $1 was going for naira and something. If you apply those two formulas into the Platts and landing cost plus pump price, it will go that area. But once government has intervened, right, that CBN do your job, and you can see that 120 naira was off the price within 24 hours. So that is also the benefit of the regulations. No single player can decide to increase price when others don't increase. I think they are buying from the same market, right? So if the windows are very tight in terms of not allowing any scrupulous behaviors, then nobody can. If your neighbor is selling 720 and your own is 680, nobody will go to that 720. And if your service again is better, right, than that 720, if you shut down within a couple of weeks, and he's paying bank interest, he's incurring costs on operation, salaries, generators. So it's a competitive market, which customers, consumers, we have the best of time now.
So I would like you to help us simplify this issue as much as you can. One key aspect of this issue is of fuel prices exchange rate. What's the nexus between these two?
We have two rates. As of today, we cannot run a black market rate. It's going for 880, 890, 900. And we have official rates, which is high investor and export window, which is about 780, 781. So those two rates. But the 781 are for people that want to bring in export proceed, right? And also CBN Forex too, which I don't think that one is there. So the banks now will marry both the importer of the exchange and the one that want to use it. They marry them together, right? And they will do their transactions, right? But it will never be up to black market rate because it's going through CBN into the country.
So I hear you, but are there ways to ensure that the exchange rate volatility does not affect fuel prices?
That's why government said they will intervene when necessary. That's when you heard very clearly. It's just like when the president said subsidy is gone. But when the president also said they will intervene, that is part of the meeting that CBN governor had with the president, and which brought out some results. And if it's necessary also, they will bring out more sanctions for people that want to play smart in the banking industry, in bullish in operation, and even in also, because but I believe that CBN will advise the president.
So when you say government intervention, what do you mean? And what are those interventions?
Intervention, like when the CBN governor went to the president and they had a meeting together. I'm sure they must have discovered some loopholes. And the CBN governor came out clearly that people who are speculators will burn their finger, which they did within 24 hours. So, and I'm sure that part of what they want to roll out is not yet in place. Maybe they are still trying to fight it. So, government is government, and government knows what to do to arrest any ugly situation at any point in time.
So, what other kind of interventions would you advise the government?
Well, the government should ensure that all the government agencies are doing their work, especially the immigration, the civil defense, the custom, the police, and that they secure our borders. So that the fuel that we bring in, doesn't go out. Right? That it is being used by but because the government is intervening, it's just trying to arrest a global situation, right? By talking to the stakeholders, both marketers and the importers, and the authority, and NNPC and other government agencies, as is saddled with the oil sector in this country. And with what government is doing about this CNG, right, which is I think, in year 2020, there was what we call federal government gas expansion program, which was launched, but there was no seriousness on the part of the government. If we have got that seriousness in the government in the last 3 years, compare with what we have seen now in the last 60, 70 days, we're not going to be where we are. I think you are aware that NNPC, through their group CEO, has said that they are partnering with NIPCO, right, to roll out 35 CNG locations in the country, another 56 CNG spots through their retail outlets, another 21. And all these things is happening, going to happen within before the next 2 years. I know they are partnering with private sector, NIPCO now. So it's not a matter of bureaucracy, politics. And you can know that, you can see that we don't have vehicles that can use CNG enough in the country because the conversion cost is very high. That's my one. Number two, there's no enough location per state to fill up the vehicles. Number three, the vehicles are not yet converted, right? But with what GMD said, if is quoted correctly, that they are going to provide credit facility to the vehicle owners for the conversion, which is a major bottleneck to get to where we are. And that's a good point. And the 3 points: the credit facility to the motorist, the location of all the conversion center, and all the stations for refilling. And you said that about 200,000 vehicles can be refilled in a day. So that's an introduction. I'm sure the next 1 year after, 24 months time, or 2 years, we're going to, in 5 years time, we are there. And we don't have any problem of supply. We have gas in abundance in the country, right? And we're number 1 in Africa, and number 9 in the world. So we have it. But the gas we have about almost 207 trillion cubic feet, which worth about 807 trillion dollars. 807 trillion dollars. If you go to the valuation. So, we don't have any problem about, say, we are going to bring CNG from abroad or something. And it's cheaper, cleaner. So
in that aspect, we're good to go.
We are good to go. Seeing what they are doing now, they are serious now. And there's a presidential directive. There's a presidential directive on compressed natural gas initiative, which, and the president too has appointed the Minister of State for Gas. So what do the Minister of State for Gas say he's doing if he fails to achieve the mandate? That's why they separated Petroleum Minister of State from the gas. So he has been saddled with the responsibility of ensuring that this presidential initiative is achieved within the time frame that they have been given.
All right. Let's also talk about the $3 billion crude loan recently secured by NNPCL to stabilize the exchange rate. How helpful will this be? Yeah,
in fact, that's one way. It's just you are doing a kind of a forward contract. Forward contract is that, okay, I will sell crude to you, give me so much. And that is our crude. There's nothing bad in it. It's going to stabilize the naira. And also that what we have learned, if it's true, that our reserve is almost empty. Right? If you net off what we are owing with what we have there, which I think must have been secured by the foreign reserve. So the CBN has taken the right option, using what you have to get what you have. That's part of the intervention they were talking of. The federal government, I know, if any business must have got the president approval to secure that kind of transaction. So that's part of the intervention we're talking about. And there may be many more also that have to come.
So what is the difference between this and other oil swap deals?
They are two different, because the oil swap deal, I give you crude. You bring the fine products, right? The formula for working, what you bring is a different issue. Because there are so many byproducts when I give you crude, right? So, but this one, there's the price of crude. We straightforward jacket or the transaction. But crude swap, it look not can be 100% it. But this one, you pay, in fact, that can be for contract. If I say, okay, pay $70 per barrel, right, and work it out, okay, next 1 year I give you so volumes. If we have signed the contract and it goes to $80, right, you gain. Or if it also comes to 50, the federal government gains. So there's risk in everything we do. But this is more neater than swap.
Okay, so there is nothing risky about this deal either for NNPC or Nigerian Treasury?
Nothing is risky there. But, you know, if you go into finance properly, we have contracts. We have spot contracts. We have forward contracts, right? So if you are doing spot, you are buying right away from there. But if you are doing forward, what they even do in importing fuel, part of price, right? You pay. You put into this price, but it can increase more. So what they have done is fantastic. It's an innovation to rescue us from the mess.
So I want us to also talk about local consumption of petrol in the country, which is now put at about 50 million liters. What does this tell us? Or, in another way, what does this mean for us as a country?
Before, there was a time they were saying that we are consuming $80 million, 80 million, 90, 70 something, but which majorly, most of them have been smuggled out of the country. Our fuel goes as far as Sudan, every coast. In fact, all the neighboring countries, they have access to our fuel. In fact, in Nigeria, we have to shut down the refinery and Cameroon, because they have to shut down the refinery for 5 years because it depends really on Nigeria fuel. Right? So, but now that they've regulated and removed subsidy, it has brought down the consumption rate. They say to 50, say to 40, but I still believe there's still some small element of smuggling because our fuel is still cheaper. That is true compared with, but it has reduced. That's the kind of, but if the customer agencies also put their thinking cap and work properly, right, we are still going to achieve decrease in the consumption rate.
All right, Mr. Osatui, let's take a break. I've been speaking with the National Operations Controller of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, Mike Osatui. Tonight, we're discussing moves by the federal government to achieve stable fuel prices in Nigeria. When I return this conversation, we'll continue. Please stay with us.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move weigh in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Thank you so much for staying with us. This is Politics Tonight, where we dig beyond the headlines. And tonight we're discussing moves by the federal government to achieve stable fuel prices in Nigeria. And I've been speaking with the National Operations Controller of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, Mr. Mike Osatui. Mr. Osatui, now with Nigeria still relying on importation of refined petrol for local consumption, how can the system get rid of possible sabotage?
Well, I think this government have re-emphasized that they're going to finish Port Harcourt in December. So which has Port Harcourt is at one of the 60,000 barrels per day, which will be a great support to Nigerians because the cost of freight, which is about 700 per liter, will not be there. The cost of finance, right? Because if you are importing fuel from Rotterdam, right, it takes 21 days to arrive in Nigeria. in a big vessel. And again, you have to transship it also with, to a smaller vessel before you bring to the jetty. So those costs will be off. Then the cost of finance also, the cost are going to pay for 34 days, will be different from the one I'm going to pay for about a month. So we're going to have some cost off that cost we are incurring now. So that one is going to be a big relief. But 2 days is going to provide job for Nigerians. And we want them to replicate what the promise or that will be done in Port Harcourt, in Warri, and Kaduna. You know, we have two refineries in Port Harcourt. So it's doable. And I confirm that the contract has been awarded by the past government. They should now ensure that it is being implemented without any normal bottleneck or normal bureaucracy, normal politics. But it's doable if we are serious.
Is that the only solution?
Well, with what the other country also has given us a refinery, which will come on stream, and the refinery is bigger than the 4 refinery we have in South Africa, right? And it's more than the 4 we have in Nigeria. So we are good to go. It's even bigger than the biggest refinery in the US, because this one is 650,000 barrels. The biggest one in US is 625,000 barrels per day. So we are good to go. And we have to give kudos to the man that if you can do it as an individual, right, within the same environment, why can't the government also do it for over 10, 20, 30 years?
So now that we're talking about refineries, the Dangote refinery was hailed as saving grace for Nigeria, but is yet to commence operations. Can Nigeria really rely on that?
If you have been to the refinery, you will know that, yes, we are good to go very soon. It's massive. As an individual has done something, what have we done as a country? For years. I think we have hope that very soon it will come up. There can be some logistic miscalculation for not coming up now, but they're working there every day, and it's massive. We have to thank the man that he built us out of the mess.
A lot of people are talking about privatization of refineries. Is that the best way to go?
Well, we are there already. We are there already. If government privatize hands off, which I think they have done, because it's going to be run on private partnership, right? I mean the contract they have signed. They do hands off their hands. Government cannot run business because it has been done that it has failed. So they should give it to a private individual to run. That is only when they can even get return. Look at the expense we have in liquefied gas. Energy. Look at the billions the government is getting in dollars in terms of dividend, because it's given to individual, right? I think Nigeria have 49% there. The other have 51% there, right? Total and Co. So, and they are being run like how it should be run, with all the business ethics and norms. So we are getting results there. We should also replicate what you have in energy in all the refineries.
All right. I would like you to react to this. Your colleagues at the Crude Oil Refinery Owners Association of Nigeria, that's CORAN, says the government needs to stimulate the modular refineries through fund intervention to enable the accessibility of PMS in the market. What does this mean, and how convenient is this?
Well, you know, so many years ago, governments give out license for modular refineries, and then they couldn't take off because of the deregulation that hasn't happened, because you can't run a refinery in a regulated market. But now that the coast is clear now, yeah, they can seek for so many support from the government so that they too can compete with government refinery and Dangote. It's not a bad thing if we have, in fact, in the US, we have 130 refineries. Working refinery, 130. Some are very small, some are 10,000, some are 20,000, but it's working. So if it can be done in the US, why can't it be done here? If we have 70 model Ferrari here, why not? But if they form association and they now approach government that can you help us in this area, maybe facility, include price or this or that, That, okay, if they say, okay, sell to us before you even sell to the foreigners at same price, why not? Right? You know, before in gas, in LPG, cooking gas, what they were doing is that they will export the gas from Bonny and import it back for us at same. If even say that, sell it to us at the same price in dollars. I mean, the board refused until when government compared them, and then the price now is now reasonable now, right? So government can say, okay, let us sell to our local refiner first. Then the excess we cannot export, right? As far as they're not being changed. As far as the same price, the same income. But no, it's not a bad thing.
All right. So as a stakeholder, Mr. Osatu, I would like you to talk to us about other existing challenges within the petroleum sector, both midstream and downstream, that may hamper government's desire to addressing root causes and promoting comprehensive reforms.
The first thing I will say is government should extend credit line to member of IPMAN and Mama and Dapman in the area of CNG, so that IPMAN too, we have secured a loan with AFDB, but it's not enough. So that government can give us a single-digit loan, so that we can also replicate. What NPs want to replicate in their retail outlets, right? So that it's going to be. In fact, we don't need to have 2 refilling stations of CNG in a state.
One is
it doesn't make sense. But we're starting from somewhere. It should be under 2 kilometers, you have driving, you have refill. So government has to also come in that area. That's number 1. It has to be per zoo. So that in another 3 years, we're talking about all the stations, both major, IPMAN, we have got a CNG in our stations with LPG. And also, there are also the Center for Conversion too. We have some of our stations that are very big, that can accommodate conversion center. That one also is very key. Then the other, that's on the downstream sector. Then and then they also need to give us also soft loan, because since the cost of lifting a petrol now about 27 million naira, which has shot my members out of business. The other one need to come in so that we can give us a soft loan with single digits, so that people can have access to the fund and to the petrol. So that we don't go back again to the monopoly era, where it's only the NPC that have money can buy or can import. That's that area. Then the area of upstream, crude. It's good that they involve a private security agent to monitor our crude lines, which has achieved some success. Right? But it's very, very unfortunate that even the security agents we are having, the Navy, cannot do their job. Because if they are doing their job, they couldn't have engaged a private security agent. Not only Navy, also the Army. Or in fact, all the forces, they need to. In fact, we don't need. It doesn't make sense for us to go and engage an individual who's a Nigerian to be monitoring our pipelines. When we have security agents saddled with the job, the Navy. In fact, what's the job of Navy is to protect our territorial water.
Absolutely.
So why have not failed to do that? And if they're moving millions of barrels of crude oil out of the country smartly, not needle, with big vessel, and they cannot do their work. It's very. But I think with what they have done now, let's see how we're going to go with this new government that has reawakened security agencies to do their job. Let's see if it will stop, because you cannot steal crude without connivance. And consider those pipelines that they connect, reconnect, do all those things for years. You cannot imagine how many trillions of dollars we have lost the country. And that is part of what brought us to where we are. I can remember there was a time we were doing 2.5 million barrels per day, crude oil production per day, which came as low as 800 sometimes, because they have already still half of the crude. As they are pumping, it's going to another channel.
So we have 2 major bodies for oil marketers. We have IPMAN and MOMAN. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So how do they differ in operations and scope?
We have three. I think at the third
three.
one, the Dapman.
Dapman.
Yes, Dapman and Depot Tuners. We are all still down. Depot Tuners, they are the majorly on storage and discharge throughput on what they store. But at the same time, they have also going to retailing. We don't have as much filling stations as we have in Moman and Ipman. And Moman too, they have depots too, right? And they're also in retailing. They are majorly in cities. Okay. But we in Ipman is the individual companies. The majors are these majors, Total, Mobile, and what have you, Wando, and what have you. But the Ipman, we are in everywhere in the country. And we own 70% of the retail outlets in the country, right? And Ipman, we are into 5 zones, right? We have Northwest, Northeast, Midwest, Southwest, and East. And I don't want to bother you.
No, you can go on.
The Southwest, we have 5 depots, though it's owned by the NPC depots, but they are not moribund because of the stealing of we have in Ore, mostly bad, right? And Lagos, of course. And in the East, we have Port Harcourt, Calabar, Aba, Enugu, and Makurdi. And if you go to Northeast, we have Yola, Jos, Gombe, and Maiduguri. And if you come to Midwest, of course, Ori and Benin. And if you go to Northwest, we have Chuleja Depot, we have Kaduna, we have Gombe, we have Kano, and we have Guzo. Those are 21 depots that made up of Ipman. And the Ipman stations are all over the hamlets, villages, right, where major cannot go to because the major have to look at the commercial value of that investment. But we make life easy for Nigerians because you can just walk down the road and go and fill your vehicle, your tricycle. Those are the functions. And in fairness, the major and that man, they are the one that do most of the importation, right? The commercial arm of Ipman is NIMCO, which also they have stations and they also do importations. And Ipman members are majorly the customers of the Dapman people. Yeah, we are the one buying what they import. My members too, they buy from a major too. So what they import, 80% of what they import, we buy them. Because that's our strong area. They too, they are very strong in importation and tank farm operation.
That's interesting. All right, so the federal government has allowed other marketers to import fuel. How far has the country gone with that?
Yeah, that is what we call deregulation. That we call which you have now opened the market. You have removed the monopolistic tendency and power that has been eating us for years. That time it's only NPC that they have the yam and they have the knife, so they do whatever they like. And but now it's now open for people that want to play the ball, right? If you have the fund, you have the capacity, you have what it takes to import now, you are free to import. Having complied with the templates of Nigerian Midstream Downstream Authority, right, which is the former PPRA, that have merged with PEF. So the code is clear now for people that want to import. But there's also a challenge of foreign exchange by the importer because CBN don't have enough Forex to finance this importation. So you see people now struggling to get foreign exchange. But I think that one is part of what government will intervene because they cannot afford for us to have scarcity in the country, mainly because there's no foreign exchange.
All right, but overall, does this emphasize the importance of competitive tension within the petroleum sector?
Oh yes. It has come now. It has come. What both Dabman, Moman, Ipman, they are selling in industry has dropped because people don't have that financial muscle now to feed tank now. They are not right, and people are also now they are now converting to LPG, right, to power their generator. Maybe you have not done your own, right? It is cheaper, it's cleaner, and it will cover more hours than petrol. If you can buy your 12.5 kg at 8.5, it can take you for more than 10 days in your house. Then that's an option. That is, in fact, people are converting now their generator massively, and even their vehicle too.
All right, so another question I would like to ask you is the force of supply is crucial in ensuring stable price in the oil sector. How feasible is it for marketers to go into importation?
Well, they are importing, but it's not an easy task. It's not an easy. It's a multi-billion naira operation. You have to source for dollars, right? And it's not easy to source for dollars. And then the backup, the naira backup is running into billions. If you want to import, let's say 26 empty of 26 million liters of gas. Now you're talking about $17-18 million, which is massive, right? And it's built of the big boys. The people who have the financial muscle, right? Who have foreign partners, who have been in the business before, and who have body tanks to store something. People even have the ship, right? So it's not an easy business to import, but we all have our strength area, right? We have our strength area. That man, they have strength in importation. We have strength in retailing, but we are going to import too, because we go inside there. But government also has to, if they are giving them Forex, CBN for importation, they should give Ipman their own portion of Forex and give Ipman their own, and give that man their own, so that they should not monopolize it again. And give only an NPC and maybe two others. They have to also give us our own. So we have partners too that we can partner together to import.
All right, so let's go back to the issue of alternative sources of energy. What impact can this have on fuel stability?
It makes it to be more stable because we are no more relying on petrol. We have options. In fact, if you convert your vehicle, right, to CNG, your gas is exhausted, you just press a button. And it is switched to petrol without stopping, right? So, and then when you get to where you are going to refill your gas, you refill your gas again and switch back to gas because it's cheaper. It's cleaner. If you are buying 200 per liter or 250 per liter, compare with 650 up north or 620, 630 in these areas, it's not comparable because we all want to have save cost. And there's no CNG, the combustion, the carbon monoxide, and the other they are emitting very, very, very minimal, like petrol, like all this flame you are seeing, right? And you service your vehicle maybe twice in a year, but if you are running on petrol, you have to service your vehicle almost every 2 months. In fact, which is cost on its own, right? We have people now who feed their car with 40,000 naira, but with CNG you can fill your car with about 30,000 naira, which is better and cost saving. And then you have options. Whether you go for petrol or you go for LPG, you go for petrol.
So before these options, the economy is still heavily reliant on oil. But what reforms will you advise the president to bring for more economic prosperity?
We have been flaring gas for years. I've told you earlier that $803 trillion is worth of which can last us for more than 200 years, which was not utilized at all. If we are doing, pari-passu, we are doing crude, and then we are also doing gas, right? Even we can also import, export gas, right? We can export gas too, so which will also give us billions of dollars per annum, right? And so if you are getting billions of dollars per annum on gas and also on petrol, and you might together, right, there won't be any question of us operating deficit financing of budget. And as we are aware, we are borrowing, we are doing deficit about 10 billion every year. About 10 billion income, 10 billion debt borrowing. How can you sustain with that every year? But the government has said that they are not going to borrow to finance expenditure. These are the areas they are going to utilize, which was not utilized before because of subsidy. Subsidy says that people are making money in subsidy, they don't see that gas is supposed to be utilized. So, but now that there's an order, there's no choice.
So, Mr. Osatui, before I let you go, we have new ministers in place. How confident are you about the ministers in charge of petroleum and gas?
Well, they are qualified. It doesn't mean that you're a lawyer and we have lawyers, who read Greek, who are bankers, who are MD of banks, and they do very well. So it depends on what the vision he has. It depends on his team, right? If he has a very good team, he's going to go, and we're going to get the best of the system, and then we're going to get best output from the oil, and also get the best output from the gas. And when you mine these two together, it's going to be the best for the country. But they have to also look, the two ministers, you don't think that they know everything. They have to assemble the best hands so that we have materials in the country that will help them. And in fact, they shouldn't rely on sacrifice or everything. They should bring in the best brain. People who know the job, who has been the job for years, so that they can help them to plan the affairs of the oil sector in Nigeria.
Francis, thank you so much. It's been an interesting conversation. Mr. Mike Osatui, National Operations Controller of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN. Thank you so much for coming on Politics Tonight. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for watching. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But the conversation continues from here. Get in touch with us on Twitter at TVC News NG and at Olajumoke @ using the hashtag Politics Tonight. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Olajumoke Olatuji. Goodbye.